Test, test.
Hello. Controversial statement.
Regarding Islam.
Yes, regarding minorities.
Hi, I'm Allan.
And I'm Russell.
And this is Popculture Pontification.
The show where we talk about games and movies and TV and things like that.
Yes. It's very hot, Russell.
It is very hot, Alan.
It's like, what was it, like 40 degrees today?
41 is the maximum.
Yes.
And
I feel like it's 41 right now in this room.
In your unair-conditioned
in my
apartment.
unair-conditioned house.
Yeah.
No fans on, doors shut to keep the sound from the freeway out, which I live quite near. And lights on. Sweat Central right now.
These are the sacrifices we make for the pristine sound quality
That's it.
that our listeners demand.
Yes, it's very warm. So how you doing, Russell? Other than sweating, you doing all right?
I'm a bit sleepy.
A bit sleepy?
Yeah.
I'm a bit sleepy too.
I just started back at work today, so that was a bit of a shock to the system.
Okay. Well, for future listeners, this is the first recording of the podcast since New Year's.
Yes.
And since New Year's, I have been soft drink free.
Whoa.
Yes. And it is 7 days. I've been a week without soft drink.
That's crazy.
I used to drink a lot of soft drink.
This is my third soda today.
Is it really? Yeah, Russell's got a tiny bottle of Coke Zero in front of him right now. Yeah, no, 7 days. I'm so tired. I've been tired for about 4 days.
Headaches hitting you?
I had a headache for a while, but that's gone now, so that's good. I'm not like anti-caffeine, I'm just anti-soft drink.
Right.
So, if I feel really tired, it's just like a can of Red Bull, I guess. It's like my only recourse because I don't drink coffee.
Is Red Bull not a soft drink?
It's an energy drink. I don't really consider it a soft drink. And I get like the zero one, so it's like, oh, zero sugar, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
Well, that's not really, whether that's the truth or good marketing, I have no idea. But no, it is an attempt to slim down, Russell.
Ah.
Yes. Also because soft drink is bad for you. But we are... Well, I don't want to put words in your mouth. We're not exactly slender folk, you and I.
No, I've been stacking on the pounds lately.
Yes, just especially over Christmas and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, it's just a decision I made in the new year to attempt to slim down.
Yeah.
Should we... Oh, that's an idea. Should we consider the possibility, and not commit to anything right now, because I have not talked to you about this beforehand. Classic Allan on the podcast. Should we consider the possibility of doing a podcast, like, weight loss challenge?
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Like,
what are the terms of this challenge?
I'd say, like, a gentleman's bet, but that implies that there's no stakes on it, and I would want there to be highly embarrassing stakes.
Keeping in mind I'm going to America, the land of the fat.
Yes.
In a couple of months' time.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm going on holiday in Sydney for 10 days.
Oh, you can, like, keep it healthy in Sydney.
Can I, Russell? I have
sure
incredibly poor willpower when it comes to that.
Well, you've been off soft drink for 7 whole days.
7 whole days, yes. And I feel like one of the main problems I have with not eating junk food or whatever is that I'm terrible at forming good habits. Which is, I'm not alone in,
No.
I feel. But now that I've got, like, a running tally going, it's like, ooh, I've hit this many days without it. And it's the whole year so far without soft drink. I want to keep that ball rolling.
The danger there is if, and when you do eventually crack, you'll be like, oh, it's fucked now.
No.
I'm going to drink all of the Coke.
Which is possible. Well, let's just hope we don't get to that.
Okay. We'll just assume it's all going to be alright.
Assume that I do not ever crumble willpower-wise.
Yeah.
Which is a possibility. So yeah, I'm not saying we have to do it or come up with the stakes now or whatever, nudie run, whatever, for the loser. Or like the way it works.
Or make the fattest person do a nudie run.
Yeah.
That seems needlessly cruel.
Seems like it'd be needlessly hilarious if it was not me.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't have to, because I don't think we weighed the same. So it'd have to be like amount of weight lost, not fattest person.
What, like as a percentage?
Well, yeah. I feel, probably a percentage would work better than actual kilo loss.
Look, let's hash out the
Yeah,
details.
let's bookmark that.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it later.
This is Popculture
This is
Pontification.
Popculture Pontification, not fitness chat.
Yeah.
With Allan and Russell, two incredibly unfit people.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say incredibly unfit. I'm just generally slightly overweight dudes.
You know, thin people sweat too.
I feel fat people sweat a lot more than thin people sweat.
I don't know about that. I mean, they do have more surface area of skin, I guess.
I feel it's also like insulation. Their core
Yeah.
temperature would be higher.
Yeah, but fit people tend to exercise more, which
That doesn't
encourages
count.
sweat.
You can't say like, oh, yeah, I sweat a lot when I run 20k.
I think that counts.
I think it like sitting down in a moderately hot room, a fat person would sweat way more than a thin person.
Well, let me ask you this.
Okay.
What have you watched and or played this week?
let's crack out of this chat.
Yeah.
And break into other actual relevant information.
Yeah.
Well, as some people may recall, approximately a month ago or so, I mentioned that Psychonauts 2, a sequel to a game that I loved growing up. And by growing up, I mean about 15 years ago.
You haven't really grown up.
I haven't really grown up. No, it's a sequel to a game that I played a lot when I was a kid, and I really liked.
Called
Psychonauts,
Ah.
shockingly enough. The Adventures of Raz, a telekinetic psychic individual at a summer camp for psychics. Double Fine, the people who made it, did a crowdfunding for the sequel. And it got down to about 6 more days to go at this point.
Yep.
It only just tipped over into the funded territory.
Yeah, but I made it.
Yes, it did make it.
Excellent.
Considering that it made about 50% in the first 2 days, then it's just been slowly trickling in over the remaining 30 odd.
I think that's the way it usually goes, though, because there's the initial publicity blast.
The initial hype, yeah.
Yeah, when it first gets released, and everybody's like, "Oh, yeah, I remember that. I love that game. Yeah, I'll totally sign up." And then after that, without the same sort of media attention.
I guess so, yeah. I mean, I funded it, but it was about 10, 15 days ago I did so I haven't really been personally invested until that point,
okay.
But now I'm checking like every day. Like, come on, get over the line. But I think they're about 20 grand over the line at this point.
Is it entirely crowdfunded, do you know, or is it
No.
partial?
Like, much like you said back in the day with another crowdfunded game through...
Oh, with Shenmue.
Shenmue, yes.
Yeah.
That is really dropping the bucket
Yeah.
of the amount.
It's like a token gesture.
Yes, because it's 3.3 mil is what they wanted to make on this, on fig.com, which I'd never heard of before this. And they said in the intro video, all the different areas is like, and 3.3 million from you guys, and then we've got the money that we're putting in, the money that like Sony or Microsoft are putting in.
And 120 million from Activision.
And then there's some game developer, probably wasn't Sony or Microsoft, some game developer went in. And then there's various miscellaneous contributions from other investors and whatnot like that. And I was like,
So there's going to be like Lenovo laptops popping up in the background.
something like that, yeah. But one thing about Fig, I was actually looking through it, is that they give you the option to invest in the game.
As in a shareholder.
Like a shareholder thing, yeah.
Really?
It was like $500. And if we sell, it's like a little sliding bar telling the amount that you'll get. You know, if we sell this many units, you'll get. If we break even or whatever, is what they say. Like minimum amount for profit, you'll get, for every $500 you invest, you'll get like $512 back.
Okay.
But if we sell like 10 times, you know, break out way more than Brutal Legend, more than Psychonauts itself sold, units wise.
Yeah.
Then you'll get like, for every $500 you invest, you'll get 1.2 grand back and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, it's tempting. I have not done it yet because what if it fails?
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
If we don't sell that many, you'll get
diddly fuck.
$6
Yeah,
back.
you get nothing back. You know, so. But that's an option on Fig apparently, which is something I've never seen on a crowdfunding source before.
Yeah, I've not heard of Fig before either. I wonder if maybe they launched it with Psychonauts 2, because it is quite a big property.
It is, yeah. Double Fine's been around for years making games. A lot of people like Brutal Legend. I've heard it wasn't very good.
Oh, I love that game.
Yeah?
The only problem with it was that they sold it as a action adventure type of thing.
It didn't turn out to be like an RTS or something.
So they showed like all this like Devil May Cry style combat.
With Jack Black voicing the protagonist.
And the world design and all the art was amazing, and the soundtrack was amazing, as you might expect.
From Double Fine, there's like they're pretty much their hallmarks,
But then there was all of these RTS battles.
Was that all the battles were RTS?
No, like they were major set piece battles. Whenever you had to fight a boss or anything, it was a RTS battle.
What was the battles otherwise?
It was just running around and punching and
dudes?
stabbing guys.
It seems like it would be a real wrench you out of the narrative if all of a sudden this boss battle you gotta shift gears into RTS from FPS.
It kind of worked, but not really for me. And especially it wasn't balanced very well. There were some units that were just incredibly overpowered, and it made it unfun. And
unfun because you won so easily, or unfun because the enemies used
No,
those
there were
units?
these... I forget which faction it was. It might have been the Goth faction.
Okay.
But they had these Grim Reapers that rode around on horses, and would just one-shot any of your guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they were almost impossible to kill. So you would, shoot down all of the rest of the army, and there'd just be this one Grim Reaper riding around massacring your guys.
Couldn't you just, mob him and take him down?
Eventually you could, yeah. But it was not an enjoyable experience.
Well, what have you been up to this week, Russell? Anything? Other than painting miniature figurines?
Other than that, I have played... Actually, it was a Steam sale, which I don't think we discussed at all.
No.
But
I never really pay attention to those.
Oh,
everybody's
really?
later on, everybody's like, oh, there's a huge Steam sale. I was like, why didn't anybody tell me?
It's on, the Steam front page.
I don't really access the Steam front page. It's just,
okay.
What am I playing today? Oh, it's Fallout 4. Okay, there's an icon on my desktop. I don't need to go into Steam.
Unless there's a sale on Fallout 4 DLC.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am regretting not buying the pack that had DLC in it, but...
I never buy those.
You never buy the DLC, or you never buy the
I never buy the pack ahead of time.
Oh, okay.
Because,
it saves you money in the long run.
Yeah, but maybe the DLC is bad or not what you want.
Okay. Well, you're going to buy it anyway, though.
Batman earlier in the year, which I didn't play. Mm-hmm. But the DLC for that, the season pass was an extra $30 or something. Mm-hmm. And then when the DLC came out, you got one Batgirl mission that took 2 hours. And the rest was all car racing stuff. And everybody hated the car stuff in Batman. So I would have been very disappointed with that.
Oh, well, there you go.
But what I did get in the sale, and I played, was Westerado Double Barreled.
It sounds like one of those old NES cowboy shooters.
Well, it was a cowboy shooter.
Time Crisis sort of style, where you move from set piece to set piece?
No, it wasn't a light gun game. No. It was retro pixel graphics, top-down viewpoint. You move your little man around.
All you can see is his hat and little arm guns.
Well, not directly top-down.
Okay.
You see your figure, but he's sort of... If it was an actual viewpoint, you would be lying on the ground, and so would everyone else, and you'd sort of slide along on the ground. But it was originally a Flash game on Newgrounds or somewhere like that.
Probably. That seems to be where a lot of these games come from. Was that Alien Hominid was on Flash
that kind of thing.
Newgrounds, and what was it? Super Meat Boy, I think, started on Newgrounds.
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, I think I got it for $8, 50% off.
Oh, ripped off.
Yeah, kind of. I played it for a couple of hours, and I explored about 85% of the map. Mm. And the main thrust of the game is a bandit has burned down your farm and killed your mother and your brother. Mm. And you have to find him and get revenge. Are you a child in this scenario? Because that would be amazing if that was the big twist at the end. You'd only see him from top-down viewpoint. You had no idea he was 5 years old. You killed my brother. I don't think you're meant to be 5 years old. No? Okay. And you can have romantic relationships with the sheriff's wife and stuff like that. Hey, maybe he's very mature. Maybe. You have to find this guy by collecting clues, and when you complete quests for people in the world and things like that, they might say, go and round up my cows or whatever. Oh yes, I did see that murderous psychopath running through here. Thanks for the cows. They do. Because they all say, we're all intimidated by him, we don't want to give any information. But since you helped me out... But now that you shot 5 rats... Yeah. Come on, yeah. Here you go, I can tell you... family's life. I can tell you that he wore a red hat. Oh, okay. Or he wore brown shoes. Sounds like a bunch of cowards. Yeah, well, they are all a bunch of cowards. But they eventually put together a whole picture of the guy, and then you find him in the world, and you say, you killed my family, or whatever, and then you shoot him. But I had 90% of his appearance done within like an hour and a half, and I'd explored most of the map, and I felt like I'd already run out of stuff to do except find this guy.
Do you think it changes like every time, his description? Or is he always in the same place?
No, like, if you were to replay it, he would be a different randomly selected person in the world.
Oh, but he wouldn't just be... He's not like in a big hideout somewhere, so you can just go straight there. You know, now you know where it is.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Is it possible for you to just go around and shoot everybody until you shot the guy?
Yes,
that is the bad guy.
Yeah, you can pull out your gun and shoot anybody at any time. And even during conversations, there's always an option to draw a pistol. So,
I love the option of like breaking games like that. It's like, you got to collect all these clues, and then you got to be nice to people, otherwise I won't tell you stuff. And you just go through a massacre everything.
Eventually I'll find the right guy.
Statistically, eventually I'm going to shoot the bad guy.
Yeah. Which you can do. That's one way to play the game.
Okay.
Unfortunately, about this time, I hit a bug in a quest where somebody asked me to...
Shoot them varmints.
No, somebody asked me to deliver something and then collect a fee for them.
Yep.
So I did, and I got the money, and I went back to them. And they said, "Oh, have you got the money?" And I said, the only option I had was to say, "Oh, no, I'll go and get it." So then I went back and repeated it.
Did you just keep getting more and more money?
Yeah, I did.
Just go sell the money. You're fine. Yep. Go spend the money.
Which I could have done, but this bug like took me off the whole game.
Okay.
Because
was it like a vital mission? Like you needed to hand this?
No. It was just another mission.
Fucking forget it. Just go and do something else.
Or
just milk it for like thousands of dollars in cash. Upgrade yourself till you're a murder death machine.
Yeah,
and then kill everybody.
The other problem with the game is that the combat's not fun.
Okay.
It's one hit kills, and you have a certain stock of hats, which is like your hearts. You can only have up to 3.
Are you just wearing all of the hats? And
No,
if somebody
you wear...
shoots you, one of your hats fly off and it reveals the one underneath?
You wear one, and if you get shot, like your hat gets knocked off. And the screen
you.
freezes for a second, and you pull out another hat and put it on.
Okay.
Yeah. But your hats fly if you get shot, or if you get attacked by a wolf. But also if a scorpion bites you, and you can't really see the scorpions, they just pop up out of the ground and then sprint at you. And it's very frustrating when you're just like walking through the wilderness and scorpions jump out.
Walking through the wilderness and getting killed by things. This was your main complaint with Fallout 4, is that I'll just be walking through the wilderness and I run across the mine and I get exploded.
Yeah, that is exactly the same complaint. And it bugs the shit out of me in this as well.
I still don't understand how you managed to get blown up by landmines in Fallout 4.
I don't have very many health points.
It doesn't matter. As soon as it starts beeping, if you just leg it, you'll get out of the explosion zone.
No, I never managed to do that.
It's just hit shift and forward.
That's what I'm doing all of the time. It doesn't work. Anyway. Westerado, I would give it plus points for the graphics, and the soundtrack's really nice. It's got like a acoustic guitar kind of thing.
How many people in a bar who stop and look at the door when you walk in, do you give it out of 10?
Out of 10, I guess I'd give it a 5 people out of 10.
Yeah, so the piano player is still playing.
Yeah.
And the bartender hasn't stopped shining the whiskey glass, but...
Like but the people are kind of looking because...
Yeah, the guys playing poker have all stopped and looked at you.
Yeah, but it's not because you look cool, it's because you have like a disfigured face or something.
It's like, these scorpions keep biting.
Face is all puffed up with scorpion bites.
Well, in absolutely no relation whatsoever, this is a terrible segue, I've been watching a new TV show lately.
Is it a Western?
It is not a Western.
No. Is it retro themed?
It is... no.
Did it originally air on Newgrounds?
Well, one could... Well, maybe. I can't say for sure, one way or the other.
Okay, let's let this segue die and carry on.
It's called The Expanse.
Okay.
And it is a new sci-fi thing that's brought out by the Sci-Fi Channel, which is still spelling their name stupid S-Y-F-Y, by the way.
Right.
It's the worst decision ever.
Yeah, I never watch any of this stuff. Purely because of the name.
It angers me every time I see it in the corner of the screen. It's set in the future. Mars is colonized. The moon is colonized, and they're two separate entities. Earth and Moon versus Mars. They're sort of like the two big powerhouses.
Okay.
And then you got the people in like the Kuiper Belt or something, mining ice asteroids for water, for minerals and stuff for everybody.
Okay.
And it's all about like sort of like, I don't want to go into like saying it's about politics and stuff.
It's all about negotiating trade deals.
Yes. There's a couple of Jedis floating around and a terrible storyline. Midi-chlorians and nonsense. No, it is about the Earth and Mars. Are they going to go to war or not? You know, they're like, oh, a war wouldn't benefit everybody. And then there's like the third faction, which is what everybody's like stomping on. The people mining on the asteroids.
Oh, they're like the downtrodden workers.
Yeah, the downtrodden, whatever, the looked down upon. And the guy who was Punisher in the 2004 Punisher movie, Tom Jane, something like that. He's like a hard-bitten detective who was born on the belt, you know, and he's like trying to solve crimes and find a lost girl and stuff. Then there's these people who are running like a big haul freighter, basically hauling ice between the belts of Saturn, I think, and Mars and stuff. And it's all about how their ship gets blown up, and now there's no ice going to there's no water going to the belt for the people to drink and stuff like that. And did Mars blow up their ship, or was it Earth?
Yeah.
Oh, now there's Earth and Mars are going to go to war, are they? And is it this strange other third faction that nobody knows anything about and stuff like that? It's about 4 episodes in, and it's started out pretty slow because there's 3 separate storylines going on at once.
So it's like establishing the setting.
Yeah, and eventually I'm assuming everything's going to tie together.
Yeah.
And it started to get to that point about 4 episodes in. But it was entertaining. It's about 45-minute episodes, and usually when it's like 45 minutes of 3 separate storylines cutting back and forth, I'm just like, come on, are we done yet?
Yeah.
But no, I powered through them.
Cool.
It's been out for, well, at least 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Because it's 4 episodes. That makes sense.
Yeah, it checks out. Now, can you tell me more about this ship full of ice?
Okay, what's the ship?
Specifically the coldness of it. Because at the moment I feel like we are podcasting on the sun.
Yes, okay. It's very cold because it's space.
Yeah.
Space is cold. And the ship's full of ice. It's also cold.
Wow.
And they're all cold and stuff. And occasionally they'll lose oxygen, which will make the room really cold.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so it's
Can
pretty
we get rid of the oxygen in here?
We could try. That is one of the things that annoys me about it, though, is they play pretty fast and loose with how quick oxygen would go out of a spaceship with a hole in it.
Okay.
Which is, FYI, the speed of sound. Is the sound at which it goes out of the spaceships.
On the show, does it run out immediately after the ad break?
At one point, a railgun fires through the ship that these guys are in. And they're in a room that's probably about 10 meters by 10 meters square.
Mm-hmm.
And it punches a hole about the size of your head through one hole and then through another hole on the other side of the thing.
So they're all dead.
So they're immediately dead. But no, they have enough time to get up, unhook themselves out of like their crash chairs that they're in because there's a space battle going on. Go and find 2 planks of metal to thunk over the holes to seal them up.
Yeah.
And it takes them about a minute and a half.
Yeah.
And there's no like air. Well, I assume there's air going into this room, but yeah, there's a lot of that. So like, there's a hole. We should patch it up when we get around to it.
Yeah.
Which really annoys me. And they don't have like artificial gravity.
Mm-hmm.
So the gravity is generated by thrust. And when they walk around and there's no gravity generated by thrust, they have magnet boots on. So then they're like chunk chunk and then they'll thunk 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 around the place, which is fine. And then at one point they go like, all right, there's no gravity in here, you guys. So just everybody, magnet boots on.
Yeah.
And then magnet down. And there's 2 separate levels. And they're like trying to pass stuff to each other from upper level. And they just toss it down like there's gravity. And I'm like, make up your minds. Are you in gravity or not? Just tell me you've got artificial gravity. I'm entirely fine with that.
Yeah. Did they like throw it down? Or?
Yeah, it was like the guy upstairs was just like, heads up, catch. And he just tossed this thing down. And they
did he like throw it like that?
He just tossed it just gently, like you would throw something to someone who was below you.
Yeah, okay.
That's pretty much how it works. So that annoys me.
You and your love of science.
Science. It's like, it's science fiction, not science fact. So anyway, that's what I've been watching as well.
During the week, I went to visit my friend and we watched a movie on Netflix called 5 Elements Ninjas. Mm-hmm. It's a kung fu movie from the 70s.
Yep. You say my segues are bad. This is terrible. To space science to 5 element ninjas.
Well, you were talking about oxygen.
Oh, okay.
Which is an element.
All right, no. Comment retracted.
And this had 5 elements.
That's true.
Was including
air one
wood.
of them?
No, it was not.
That's actually a thing. Like, back in the day, they were like, earth, air, water, fire. And they're like, that doesn't cover everything. Wood. Yeah. That's the 5th one. Now everything makes sense.
Air got shortchanged in these 5 elements.
Really?
Gold was an element as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's more alchemy stuff, where they thought like gold was the greatest of the elements, because it was like purer than the other elements. I could go into it. I'm probably not going to.
No, because this is like Chinese kung fu makers, movie makers in the 70s.
Did you know about the theory about the 4 elements? This is just me completely taking over your conversation.
What, you mean like Aristotle?
No. Like, the reason why they went on, like, the 4 elements were air, water, earth, and fire.
Yeah.
Wasn't because that was what they thought the actual elements were.
Right.
Is they were describing the 4 states of matter, which is gas, liquid, solid, and plasma.
Right.
So that was the earth, air, water, and fire.
You're forgetting the most important one.
Wood?
Heart.
Oh, heart, yes, correct.
The power to befriend a monkey.
Yes.
The greatest power of all.
Not turn Hitler good, which is at one point they fought like the Power Rangers, I almost said.
Well, the Planeteers fought Hitler.
Planeteers fought like a version of Hitler, yeah. And the guy was like, I shall defeat him with power of heart. And Hitler was like, I am evil. Heart has no effect on me.
My heart has been replaced by a black coal.
Yes. Anyway, that's my ancient fucking Greek theories out the window. So you tell me about this kung fu movie.
Yes, 5 Elements Ninjas is a very, very, very stupid movie.
Is it like, when was it made, would you say?
78, something like that.
Sort of right almost in the honey zone of, let's just make crazy kung fu movies because we have $30 and nothing better to do.
Yeah. It's on Netflix. Netflix has got loads of old kung fu movies on there at the moment.
Okay.
And this one was rated 4 stars. So we were expecting...
Is that user reviews?
Yeah.
Nice.
We were expecting some, top quality story and acting and martial arts.
As you would.
Yeah. But it's just ridiculous. The plot is threadbare. Mm-hmm. It's one group of kung fu fighters, a school, dojo, temple. It's unclear what exactly they are.
Let's go with school for clarity's sake.
Their school is battling another school.
Is there 5 schools? Is there 5 elemental schools?
No, there's only 2.
Oh, it doesn't make sense. Already I'm on the back foot here, Russell. You're going to have to win me back to this.
One school is all dressed in white. They're the good guys. The other
Obviously,
school is all dressed in black.
They're the bad guys.
And the white guys win every battle.
At any point, does one of the black guys' teachers say, sweep the leg?
No.
Okay. Again, missed opportunity.
Until the last round, where the black school brings out their hired samurai from Japan.
They brought in a ringer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he was actually Chinese. But, nevertheless, this samurai defeats one of the white team's guys and says, if you are dishonored by defeat, you should kill yourself. When none of the other guys who got defeated killed themselves. And so this guy takes a battle axe and cuts his own throat with it.
That's pretty extreme.
Yeah, and dies instantaneously. He doesn't choke out his last breath.
It seems like it would take you at least a couple of seconds to go, that was a terrible decision.
Yeah.
Why did I do that?
Anyway, another guy then takes on this samurai and defeats him. And he's like,
it's good for the goose. It's good for the gander.
And so the samurai also takes his own life, but not before requesting the 5 Elements ninjas get revenge for him.
Okay.
On the white school.
Wait, so who are the bad guys? The 5 Element ninjas bad guys?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And they're just like, we're going to fuck up your school. And
how did he send a message on the wind to these guys or something? Were they there?
No, they weren't there. I don't exactly remember. Maybe the black school sent it.
Okay.
There's almost no...
Somebody write this down. 5 Element ninjas. Revenge. White school. That's the crux of it.
There's no establishing shots or music or anything in between scene changes. And they can be months apart. Okay. And it will just suddenly, boom.
Not even up on the screen some kanji that's 5 months later.
No, it's just boom.
Okay. How is it?
Boom.
Okay. All right.
You got that now?
I'm with you now. Yeah.
And the 5 Element ninjas, of course, have themed attacks.
Yep.
They challenge the white school, and the white school foolishly go to meet them on their own home turf.
Because they're honourable, Russell. Not
They're
something
fools.
you would know anything about.
You don't have to be honourable to ninjas. They're ninjas.
Okay.
And so the gold school have these umbrellas that are made of gold.
Okay, so now the 5-element ninjas aren't just 5 ninjas.
No, there's fucking dozens of
5
them.
different schools of ninjas.
So the white school sends 1 or 2 guys to each
This seems
ninja battle.
very unfair.
Yeah, it's just extremely unfair. That's ninjas for you.
I thought it was just like whole school versus 5 guys.
No.
Like the 5 masters of that discipline. 5 elements ninjas.
No.
Alright, well.
There's a whole bunch of ninjas spread among 5 elements. They all have different themed attacks. The most entertaining of which was the wood ninjas.
Do they just hit people with sticks?
No.
Because it seems like the easiest.
The good fighters, I say good, there's no morality in this. They're just dressed in white, so you assume they're good. They come to this, like, forest grove kind of thing, and one of them, like, leans up against a tree. And the tree's arms, like, wrap around because it's a guy, and, like, stab him in the stomach.
I'll say, this isn't like just, I have punched you and now you are dead. It's just like, oh, look at this knife going into your throat.
Oh, yeah, no, it's extremely violent.
Okay.
And people keep, like, getting pushed up against or leaning against trees, and then the trees grab them and stab them.
Well, you'd think the first guy would be like, oh, well, nobody saw this coming. And everybody else would be like, stay away from the trees.
You'd think so. Unfortunately not. The earth ninjas, like...
Do they erupt out of the ground and then punch people?
Not even.
Oh, man, I'm like 0 for fucking 2 so far.
This guy comes walking into this, like, area with quite high grass, and these spears come out of the ground and stab him in the crotch. And he's, like, trying to find a safe spot, and spears are just continually stabbing him in the balls and ass.
Okay.
And he's
Is it like a comical thing where he's like, ooh?
No, it's not played for laughs. Okay. Well, we were laughing. And it's just extremely
What would
unfair.
you do? You'd jump into a tree, but then you just get stabbed by the tree because it would be a guy.
Yeah. You can't win against 5 elements ninjas. Except at the end when they do.
Once again, it seems like Earth is just vastly overpowered.
Yeah, Earth is generally overpowered.
Because you're just, where are you going to go? You can't fly. You're on the ground. You're a shit out of luck.
Well, you can run away and then they're trapped in a little hole in the ground.
Oh, are they not just like have the ability to travel through the ground?
Sometimes it seemed like they did. It was unclear whether they were actual wizards.
Yeah, sorcerers. Or whatever the Japanese version of wizards are.
Yeah. I don't know.
You don't know.
Anyway, it was very stupid and entertaining, but it wasn't a good movie by any stretch of the
Well,
imagination.
did you enjoy yourself?
For the most part, yes. I did nod off at one stage.
You have been known to nod off during a movie, though.
Yeah. Especially stupid movies.
Speaking of stupid things, I saw a very stupid thing while I was driving around the other day. Today, actually. Don't know why I said the other day. It was about 4 hours ago.
Okay.
I was driving along. I was going over to my girlfriend's house to get some lunch. And I ended up behind this very dirty, dusty four-wheel drive.
Okay.
And I was like, what's that written on the back windscreen? You know, somebody's written in the dust. So I was like, oh, these are usually good for like a smirk or something. I'm not going to say laugh because usually they're quite stupid.
Wash
Clean
me.
Wash me.
Dave
If
sucks.
only my wife was this dirty. That's fucking stupid. But part of it had been wiped out because obviously the guy wanted to be able to see out of the back window.
Yeah.
And so like I ended up behind him because you never it's always like, how close can I get before I'm just tailgating this guy? You know. Eventually I ended up behind him at a set of lights, and the weirdest fucking thing was written on the back windscreen.
Yeah.
And I quote, I wrote it down.
20 years ago.
Yes, it's Declaration of Independence.
Yeah.
Is that where that's from?
No, it's a Gettysburg Address.
That says right, yes. Who would have guessed that Australian would have terrible knowledge of American stuff? No, what was written on the back was, you can clean your truck, but you can't clean your soul. What a fucking bizarre thing to write on the back of someone's four-wheel drive.
Apparently this guy can't clean a truck either, so
Yeah.
he's shit out of luck.
But you can clean your soul. That's what the whole forgiveness thing is.
Yeah, that's what prayer is for.
Yeah. So it just struck me as a very odd thing to write on the back of someone's, or to write on the back of your own vehicle.
Maybe he didn't even know it was there.
Maybe
somebody put it there.
Maybe. Well, that's what I assumed.
Witnesses or-
Because it's not like something you'd write on the back of your own vehicle. Because you're just damning yourself to hell. It's
You
like,
are.
I haven't cleaned my truck, so my soul is just fucked.
Well, I think it was, I don't mind letting my truck get dirty because I can clean it. But my soul remains pure. I never drink or spend time with loose women or anything.
I went the other way. It's like you can clean your throat, but you can't clean your soul. Looks like all the awful things you've already done are stuck with you forever. You're going to hell.
Maybe.
I watched a movie, and I got in trouble for watching this movie. But I'll go into that later.
Okay. I mostly want to hear about the trouble.
Okay, well, I've got to lay some groundwork down before I can tell you about the strife I got in.
Yeah.
It's called People, Places, Things.
Yeah.
It was released in 2015. I think it was relatively recent movie. Last year. By 7 days last year.
Yeah.
And it stars predominantly Jermaine Clement from Flight of the Conchords.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a illustrator. And it's all about his wife having an affair and like them breaking up because they were never actually married. They were just a couple, and then all of a sudden she wants to get married and all that sort of stuff. And
to him?
No, to this guy she was sleeping with.
Okay.
And he's like, but you said you never wanted to get married. It was like
Anyway. She's like, haha, fuck you.
It looks like you're a piece of shit. No, but it's all very, very dry wit. And he's like, at one point, like one of his art students comes up to him and it's like, are you okay? You just look really unhappy. And he's like, oh, I'm just having a bad life. It's okay. It'll be over eventually. Stuff like that. And it's all very funny. And I was over at my girlfriend's house today and we're going to go get some lunch. And I was like driving along. I was like, oh, I watched a movie last night that you might really like. And she's like, oh, okay. What was it? I was like, it was called People, Places, Things. It was like, you piece of shit. And I was like, oh no. She was like, I told you about that movie like 3 weeks ago that I said I wanted to watch that with you. And I was like, did you? I don't remember that. And she's like, raw, a big scowl on her face while we were driving along. And I was like, too bad. I was like, well, you should watch it. I think you'd really like it. So I got in a lot of trouble for watching it.
But I'm not going to watch it again.
I'm not going to watch it again. It's a romantic comedy. I already know what's going to happen.
You watch a romantic comedy without your girlfriend?
I don't know if I'd count it as like a romantic comedy. It's a comedy. It has romance. Oh, wait, it is a romantic comedy.
Does he get a girl in the end?
I'm not going to spoil the ending.
Okay.
He ends up like the student who was like, you look like a piece of shit. And he was like, oh, my life will be over eventually. She tries to hook him up with her mother.
Ah.
And they have a very witty back and forth while they're having their dinner date and all that sort of stuff. And it's all about him and his twin daughters and stuff like that. Because the wife cheats on him at their daughter's 5th year birthday party.
Nice.
And that's the opening scene. It's like that. And like, she cheats on him with like this big fat guy.
Oh, wow.
And he's like, can he put a shirt on? Because he's standing there without his shirt on. And he's like, she's like, you don't have to put a shirt on. He's like, I want to put a shirt on. He's like, I feel like it'd just be better if you had a shirt on while we were having this conversation. And she was like, fine. And she was wearing the other guy's shirt that she obviously just hastily put on. So she just takes her shirt off and gives it to him, and now she's topless. And that guy puts a shirt on. And she's like, is that better? It's like, well, clearly it isn't. Stuff like that. So it's a very amusing movie. And I got in trouble for watching it.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
Well deserved trouble.
Well, I feel like I earned it.
How could you not remember an offhand comment from 3 weeks ago, Allan?
You're a terrible boyfriend.
Yeah.
But I would recommend it. If you like that sort of thing, if you like dry wit and back and forth banter and romantic comedies and people with New Zealand accents. Person with New Zealand accent, I should say. There was only one of them.
Yeah.
Then you should watch that movie.
I generally do like accents. I'm not necessarily a romantic comedy man, though.
Well, this would get you... Maybe you could learn from my mistake and watch it with your girlfriend.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Mm.
The only other thing I have to talk about is that there is a series coming out, which I might talk about this next week, actually, called The Sword of Shannara.
The Sword of
Shannara. The Sword of Shannara. Yes, of course. We're going to go over there and stab some guys. No, it's well, the TV show is called The Shannara Chronicles.
Yeah.
But the book is based...
The Sword.
The Sword. No, but it is based on a series of books called The Sword of Shannara. Right. Written by Terry Brooks, I believe.
The Sword of Shannara.
Yes. I have no idea how to pronounce it. The final word. Also sword, apparently.
The Sword of Sword.
But that only came out on the 5th, so like 2 days ago. So I haven't had a chance to see it yet.
What channel is it on?
I don't know. The internet for me.
Right, okay.
I don't have an antenna here, right?
Really?
Yeah. Well, I have one. It's just sitting out in the backyard, leaning against the wall, not plugged into anything.
Well, how do you watch? I got nothing.
You got nothing?
I only watch Netflix.
Yeah. So, yeah. And like, when I first moved in here, I was like, I don't watch TV.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not on TV anyway. And I was like, the antenna doesn't work. And they're like, okay, we'll send a guy out. So they sent an antenna guy out. And I was like, this is an analog antenna. This doesn't work at all anymore. I was like, okay, I don't care. And he was like, okay, we'll work on fixing it. And then like 6 months later, the people who are in this place was like, make sure that the back gate is unlocked during that day because we're going to come along and take that away and get a new one installed. I was like, all right. So I left the back gate unlocked the entire day. Came back, the antenna was still there.
They'd robbed your house.
And that was about 7-8 months ago. The antenna's still in the backyard.
Nice.
But it just doesn't bother me because I don't watch TV.
Yeah.
So, if there is a thing on TV that I want to watch, it's just too bad.
It's too bad.
It's too bad. I suppose I could probably find a copy of it online, but if I'm not interested in it outside of television, then I'm not going to, like, watch an episode. I'm not going to, like, download The Amazing Race to freaking watch that.
You can, actually.
I probably could.
I was shocked to discover that you can find My Kitchen Rules available.
Oh, like, on the Channel 7 fucking website or something?
No, on, like, ISO Hunt or
okay.
torrent sites.
Because quite often they'll, like, broadcast a TV show that has already aired on the website as, like, a streaming.
Yeah, they do, but there's fucking loads of ads.
Oh, okay.
I've tried that before. Okay. It was real bad.
I just wouldn't recommend it.
No.
Just be illegal. Do illegal downloads.
Yeah,
be a criminal.
Yeah.
Well, if you've got nothing else to talk about, and I've run through my expansive list of things to talk about, I think it's time for us to move on to Forced Review.
Expansive list? Jeez, Alan.
Forced Review. Forced Review is a segment where one of us, week about, forces the other person to review something that they have not seen yet. Yeah.
Correct.
See, I'm getting so much better.
Yeah.
Like, looking back on episode 1, my explanation of what Forced Review was took like fucking 5 minutes. It was ridiculous.
If we do this for long enough, then surely Forced Review will enter the Oxford Dictionary. And we can just say, it's Forced Review. And everyone will know what we're talking about.
It'll be hyphenated, it'll be Forced-Review.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can't... The words forced and review are already in the dictionary, Russell.
I think you can have phrases.
Can you have phrases?
In a phrase dictionary.
Oh, that's different, Russell. It's a phrase dictionary.
If we get into a phrase dictionary, I'll consider that good enough.
You think that'll be like, yeah, happy with that?
Yeah.
Alright. So, last week, I forced you to watch a very formative movie for me. Not only because there are attractive young ladies in it, and I was a horny teenager, but also because it's about teenagers learning about themselves and stuff.
Yeah.
I made you review, or I'm making you review, I suppose, Empire Records, which is like the generation after Breakfast Club's Breakfast Club.
I'll take your word for it.
I'm happy with that description.
Having watched it, I think, even though I assume we're the same generation, I feel like my movie for this was American Pie.
Maybe, I guess so. American Pie is more of like a slapstick comedy, though.
Opposed to...
Less about, like, learning about ourselves and growing as individuals, and more about sticking your dick in pies.
But that's how you grow as a person.
Yes, it's like fertilizer for you as a person, apple pie in your dick.
Exactly.
No. Empire Records came out in 1995, though. Mm-hmm. So, that's about when I was 11 or so. So... couple of years after. I don't think American Pie came out to, like, was it late 90s, early
98, I think.
2000s?
I don't know.
I'm going to take your word for it because I have no fucking idea.
I'm sure I was in high school.
I do remember watching American Pie with a bunch of high school friends, though, so...
So you were not even a horny teenager at this point. You were a horny preteen.
I guess so. And then, I'm not saying, like, the first time I watched it was the year it came out. I didn't see it in cinemas.
Okay.
You know. That would imply that there was a cinema near me growing up, of which there was not.
I see. It was only the video rental store.
Correct, yes. Yeah. Which was the local service station, which had about 20 VHS tapes.
Oh, Jesus.
Unless I wanted to drive for half an hour to get to Mandurah, in which case there was actual stores.
Oh, that's not that far, I guess.
No. Quite long distance when you have no public transportation and no license.
No, that's true.
Anyway. Is this, do you know what the tagline for this one is?
I've got no idea.
Because usually you're pretty good. Usually you've either already looked it up or you remembered from like the cover of the thing. It's open till midnight.
Ah.
Which is a terrible tagline. Because I have yet to see a tagline where I've gone like, okay, yeah, that's a good tagline. They're always like, oh, that's a terrible fucking tagline.
Well, there's like, this time it's personal.
For what? What was that?
I don't even know.
Yeah,
okay.
It's
a good tagline.
It's a good tagline, but it's just pop culture. It's never been used in any actual movie to my knowledge.
sure it has.
Director of this movie is Allan Moyle, spelt the same way as my name is Allan. Not Moyle.
You're not Moyle.
I'm not a Moyle. I wonder if he's, like, historically a Moyle.
Their family
like,
was,
that's just, like, yeah.
cutting off foreskins.
Yeah, and that's where you got the name Moyle from.
Maybe.
Anyway, that's not important. How about you review this movie?
Okay. Well, will you allow me to set the scene?
Yep. Do you want me to... I feel like this is a much better idea. Do you want me to just read the 2-sentence plot synopsis on IMDb?
No,
instead of you
plagiarism.
Instead of you describing in 10 minutes the entire plot of the movie?
I want you to tell me the plot of the movie.
Yeah,
but not from reading out a synopsis.
I'm not on the synopsis anymore. Okay. Empire Records is about a record store in the 90s that is going to close down, and it is all about these group of teens who try to raise money to keep the store open because one of their co-workers took the money and blew it in Vegas, I think?
Atlantic City,
which is like teenager Vegas. So there you go. Makes sense. And yeah, and it's all about the interactions between the like eight or nine teens who are working in the store.
They keep on adding more of them. It starts out with about 6,
yeah.
And then other ones keep drifting in.
It's a pretty big store, I suppose.
Yeah, it is a big store.
Yeah. And it's that's basically the plot of the movie.
Yeah.
Are you unhappy with that?
No.
What are they? A+?
I don't know, it's a bit sparse on details.
Well, that's what a synopsis is, Russell. Sparse on details.
Yeah. Well, where do I start with this movie?
The beginning is usually a good point, but don't describe the movie.
No, I normally start at the beginning, and then you whinge about me going up to them.
You're a film wanker now. You've watched all these videos on film wankery, so work some of that in.
I don't know that I can. It's a pretty straightforward sort of movie.
Yeah, Talking Heads.
Talking Heads?
Talking Heads. Isn't that a filmography term? Where instead of like showing people walking around doing stuff,
you just show their heads.
You just show their heads talking to each other, cut back and forth between their domes.
I didn't notice it being particularly egregious. Bam, egregious. Yeah.
You're such a wanker.
This movie just sort of washed over me, like a tide.
Like a cool summer rain.
Yeah. And then it washed back out with the tide.
Okay. I don't know what you mean by that.
It didn't really leave an impression.
Okay.
I think probably because I'm too old.
I guess so.
And
maybe a lot of my love for it is nostalgia.
Well, I think you were probably just at the right time in your life to watch it.
Well, it was formative. So it was at my formative years.
But for me, as a grown man, watching the escapades of these teens, I just thought, these people are a bunch of idiots and they should all be fired.
You gotta remember it is the 90s though, so times were different back then.
Yeah, there were lots of intelligent people in the 90s.
That's true.
The whole thrust of the movie is that the owner of the store is going to sell out to Music Town, which is a big chain store.
Yeah, big corporation, yeah.
And they won't be able to show off their tattoos or wear their revealing skirts or...
piercings, I think.
Or piercings. Misbehave how they normally do and...
Muck about.
Yeah.
All the hallmark fun and jolly good times of being a teenager working in a music store.
Yeah. But I found myself sympathising with the business owner.
With the evil businessman.
Yeah. Because the store's losing money and all of the employees are idiots.
Okay.
You should clear them out and get in a bunch of,
20-year-olds?
Yeah. Or just sensible, well-behaved teens.
Are you just more like, I could run this place so much better?
Yeah, I definitely could have. I guess I've become the man.
You are the man now, Russell. You're the man. Down with you. Down with the man, I say.
I'm wearing my business shirt.
You are wearing business
trousers.
Shirts. You're wearing very sensible shoes.
Yeah. So maybe that's the problem. But this movie just sort of bounced off me, I guess.
Yeah? couldn't break through your crusty old man exterior.
Yeah. I did have some good points. The girls in it are fantastically good looking.
Yes. Most notably, Liv Tyler, I think you mentioned beforehand.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's got amazing legs. And Allan assured me she has amazing everything else as well.
Well, memory serves.
Yeah. Renee Zellweger is surprisingly
Attractive.
hot.
Yeah, she was the slut.
The slutty
in the movie?
one.
Yes, the slutty one, yes.
And I'm most familiar with her from Bridget Jones's Diary.
Yeah, where she's a much older person.
Yeah. And had deliberately gained weight for the role.
Yes.
So seeing her as a younger, slimmer figure was quite a surprise.
Mm-hmm. Did you know that even though it is set over the period of 1 day, it was initially scripted out to be over the period of 2 days? Which is why everything seems to happen so quickly.
Yeah, I did feel like they were rushing between...
Yeah, because it was initially scripted out to be like, here is 1 day of stuff, and then the next day happens, and more stuff happens.
I see.
But I don't remember why, but for some reason it just got crammed into 1 day. So it seems like everything happens at a very frantic pace. If I had to guess, I would say it'd be because they wanted it more similar to Breakfast Club, where everything happens in 1 day.
I'll take your word for it.
Oh, it's probably horrendously incorrect.
Breakfast Club. 6 months in the lives of these teens.
Stuck in detention.
Yeah. I forget his character's name. The guy who stole the money.
I can't remember either. Yeah.
He was pretty entertaining.
He was like the disenchanted youth.
Yeah, he was like not remorseful at all about what
There's
he
a
done.
lot of tropes filled.
His movie is full of cliches.
Nothing but tropes and cliches, yes. Which is half the charm of it, I suppose.
The main romance plot was just like groan/cringeworthy the whole way through. Where one of the boys is like, oh, I love Liv Tyler, but I can't tell her. Oh, what do I do?
Liv Tyler being like the good girl. Quotation marks, yes.
Yeah. And then the older like father figure guy.
Oh, the guy who was like manages the store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's actually an Australian actor, I think.
Is he?
Yeah.
I'll take your word on that. I got IMDb up right in front of me. I'm not going to check.
He's like, oh, well, you just got to tell her.
Yeah, just suck it up, chop.
Yeah. And the guy keeps like angsting about it and going back and forth. I was like, oh, God, I'm too old to look at this
As
shit.
a 30-year-old, like, I deal a lot with younger people at my work. We have young guys who work on the weekends.
Yeah.
Like 17, 18, pretty much the same age as these people.
Yeah.
And like a lot of them are like, oh, what do I do? I was like, just fucking tell her. Don't be a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Just be honest. Be frank.
And
they're like, oh no, what if she says that? Then she fucking says no. Who gives a shit?
Yeah. The alternative is suffering in silence for the next 6 months or
like,
whatever.
looking back when I was like 15 and 16 and stuff like that,
Yeah.
I was horrible.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I was incredibly introverted.
Yeah.
Much more so than I am now.
Yeah.
I am like 10,000 times more extroverted now than I was when I was that age. And looking back, I was like, I liked girls. I never fucking did anything about it because I was terrified of them.
String of unacted on crushes.
Yeah, clashing all the way across fucking southwestern Australia. Yeah.
But I'm too old to sympathise with this plight anymore.
Mm-hmm. I suppose any sympathy I'd have would be like empathizing. Like, I've been there, you know.
Yeah.
Like, you, suave, youthful Russell, obviously never was in such a situation.
Oh, I was frequently in such a situation. One thing particularly struck me in this movie.
Liv Tyler's legs.
Apart from Liv Tyler's legs. One character is initially introduced shoplifting from the store.
Oh, the younger guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he comes back towards the end of the movie with a gun.
Yes, yes.
And threatens to shoot everybody. And I'm thinking, this definitely came out before all those school shootings, didn't it?
Almost, absolutely, yeah.
I was like, it would never pass today.
But what happens after that?
They hire him to work at the store.
What
the fuck? That kid would have been murdered by a SWAT team.
That is like how they talk him down, though. They're like, okay, this kid's just lonely. He doesn't have anywhere to go. He doesn't know what to do.
He does have somewhere to go. Prison.
Yes. He got arrested before that.
And then they're like, he was just joshing around. Threatening us with a gun.
Like, if you give us the gun, you can work here.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, it sounds like a great idea.
Yeah.
Which sounds exactly like a plot to just take the gun off him and then punch him in the face.
Yeah.
But they just
let him
give him an employee ID tag and put him to work.
Yeah.
I feel like the ending of the movie is the real highlight.
What, where they sing a song?
Yeah. Like, they start raising funds. They throw a party, basically, to raise some funds. So they can buy the store. And...
it was all done in such a rush.
It was. And then, like, it's like, we should throw a concert. Your band can play. And she'll sing.
Yeah.
It's just like 10 seconds later, they're singing. And everybody has come. And there's lots of money.
Yeah, and people are like shoving $100 bills into this big jar. It's like, yeah, save the store. Woo, music store.
And then, like, the big evil corporate guy comes along. And then the guy's like, oh, buy this store. Here's X amount of money.
Yeah.
And he's like, foiled again.
No, I don't think he was. I think he was like, okay, cool. You obviously love this store more than I do. I'm happy to sell it to you.
Yep, there you go.
He didn't have his, I would have got away with it too.
This damn youthful, attractive
yeah.
model looking like teenagers.
So it did have some amusing moments, but overall...
Poo-poo.
Yeah.
15-year-old Russell would have been fucking all over this.
Oh, no doubt.
Okay, now the question remains about what you would rate it out of 10. How many out of Liv Tyler legs? Out of 10?
Liv Tyler legs. I think I'd give it 5 Liv Tyler legs.
5 Liv Tyler? You give this a 5?
Yeah.
I am appalled.
Just imagine Liv Tyler with 5 legs walking around.
Okay, well, how many out of 10 for the movie then? If like the amount of Liv Tyler legs is putting you a 5, so you're rating a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm giving it a 5 out of 10.
That is bald, man. I'm like personally offended by this. Do you want to know what it is on IMDb?
Yeah, sure.
It's 7.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the Metacritic rating?
I don't know. I don't have that on IMDb. Oh, Metacritic score 30.
Boom.
I don't know what that is. Is that out of 100?
Out of 100.
Whatever. I don't know who these meta scores are, but they can go fuck themselves.
They're like film critics.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
These old people
old fuddy-duddies
who've lost the youth in their hearts.
Yeah.
Disenchanted by the franchise.
Sorry.
Go kill yourselves, Metacritic reviewers.
I'm an old fuddy.
Go fly a kite. Regain the youth of your lost childhood. Doesn't matter that your dad touched you, just get over it.
By flying a kite.
Do the Mary Poppins style. Get over it by flying a kite.
Did they fly a kite in Mary Poppins?
They sure did, right at the end.
All I know is supercalifragilistic.
Expialidocious. Did you forget how the rhyme went there?
Yeah.
So you're like supercalifragilistic.
All I know is supercalifrag... whatever. That's as far as I ever got.
You are old fuddy-duddy. Okay, well now that you've broken my heart, Russell, what are you going to give me to review next week?
Hang on, what would you rate it?
That's fucking 10, Russell. 10. No, probably not a 10. Probably a 7 or 8.
Oh.
Because of youthful memories. Alright, so, now that you've broken my heart, Russell, what are you going to force me to review next week?
I'll give you the opportunity to break my heart and invite you...
5 Elements Ninja.
No. And invite you to review The Toughest Man in the World.
That sounds like a martial arts movie. Is it
It's
not a martial arts movie? No?
It's starring Mr. T.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You'll be amazed and shocked to hear, Russell. I've never seen that movie.
No.
I've never even heard of it.
I'm amazed. It's like the #1 grossing film of all time.
Yeah, for Mr. T movies.
Yeah, well,
probably not. Probably. Did they do an A-Team movie? I feel like they would have.
They did, like, as a reboot. In recent
times.
But
I'm saying...
But
Mr.
I
T
don't know if
wasn't
they did originally.
What was the movie called again?
The Toughest Man in the World.
The Toughest...
My DVD cover is just a picture of Mr. T's face.
In
the world.
The world. See if this is even in IMDb. Toughest Man in the World. 1984. This was made the year I was born.
It's actually a biography about you.
It was appropriate, if nothing else. Mr. T's first starring made-for-TV, Russell. Jesus. Has him playing a tough and scowling but soft-hearted nightclub bouncer who finds him involved with a bunch of kids after being conned into taking over for a youth centre. This sounds horribly inappropriate. He's super religious, you know?
Is he?
Yeah, Mr. T.
It's news to me. Is that why he wears all those necklaces?
Do you want to know? I actually know why he wears all those chains and stuff
necklaces?
Like that. He used to actually work as a bouncer at a nightclub. And whenever anybody would lose jewellery in the club, he would just put it on at the front door. So if they came back, he could give it out to them for it. And that just became his look. Because it's big, very popular nightclub. People would do lots of stuff. So he'd end up at the end of the night with all these rings and all these chains and stuff on. That just became his look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Do you know why people back in the day used to wear a lot of, like, pimps and stuff, used to wear a lot of gold rings and gold chains and stuff like that?
As a way to store their wealth?
Yeah. For the most part, it was because eventually they're going to get arrested.
Yeah.
And the cops take your cash off you. But you can, like, hock your jewellery for bail.
I see.
Yeah, so there you go.
It's good to know.
Oh, look at this. I'm teaching you so much.
About the criminal underground.
The criminal underground, well, of which I know next to nothing about.
How many pimps did you know in North Dandelop?
North Dandelop? Well, I was the only one, so one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. You chased all the others out of town.
Yes, that's exactly what it works. You gotta maintain your territory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, what was the IMDb score on it?
It's a big old fat 5, Russell.
There you go. That's the link.
Alright, so, if you've enjoyed this podcast, tell your friends, tell your family,
Tell your mum.
tell your mum, talk to your mum. She misses you.
Yeah, give her a call.
Give her a call. She's a nice lady,
Bastard.
probably.
Yeah.
She's probably a nice lady.
She's a mum. Most mums are nice.
Most mums are nice. Give her, call to action. Give your mum a call. Tell her that you miss her.
Even if you don't.
Tell you that you remember being inside her, and it was very nice.
Don't talk about being inside
Don't talk about being inside your mum. That seems horribly inappropriate. No, I say that could be, instead of like going to our website or whatever, give your mum a call.
Yeah. And tell her to go to our website.
Tell her to go to our website. Maybe she'll like what she sees. And she'll tell her friends. And that's how it works. But speaking of the website, you can go to it to see a blog post involving hilarious links that have only a loose connection to what we actually talk about in the movie, in the podcast, at popculturepon.weebly.com.
You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/popculturepon, and you can hit us up on Twitter at popculturepon.
Yeah, good stuff. We are on iTunes and Stitcher and stuff, so feel free to go there if you want. I still don't really understand how iTunes works, so it takes me like 10 minutes to get to our group page.
Really? You just like search for Popculture Pontification?
I don't know. It seems very clunky and not very well defined.
What podcast app do you use?
I don't. Well, what, personally on my phone?
Yeah. Well,
not fucking iTunes.
What do you use?
I use, I forget what it's called now.
Mine's called Pocket Casts. Shout out to Pocket Casts.
That wasn't the one you used to use. You used to use another one.
No, I used to use Downcast when I had an iPhone.
Yeah,
Downcast
which sounds
is good too.
So depressing.
Downcast.
Come on to Downcast. No, I use Podcast Addict, which I very much recommend.
I see.
But yeah, if you have any ideas about something you want us to talk about on the show, or something we can review as a group, because Russell is never prepared about what to give me to review, then you can contact us there. Otherwise, you can join us again next week for another charming and politically correct episode of Popculture Pontification.